Supriya Shrinate, you can't just look at the actual number of takedown requests. You have to look at the actual population. Jitin Jain made the point about many of these being traced back to IP addresses in Pakistan, suggesting that some of them were actually accounts which were trying to foment trouble. There may have been the odd case of mishandling or high-handedness, but a lot of it was foreign government propaganda run by the likes of the ISI, the ISPR, which had to be taken down. So the actual number of takedown requests per se doesn't mean anything. You have to look at it in the context of the size of our country.
No, absolutely not. I think that's a very lopsided argument, and I'll tell you why. We are the third highest number of takedown requests from Indian government goes to Twitter. I actually want to ask a counter question. Is the debate about what Jack Dorsey said, or is the debate about annihilation of free speech? And I think the larger debate is about that. The larger debate is what was happening to farmers, and instead of finding a solution to that, the government was trying to suppress their protest. The government was trying to suppress voices that were showing that protest. It is quite clear. There are 1,48,000 farmers who are still facing cases from back then. Why is the government not resolving them? Over 750 farmers lost their lives in this protest. What about them? But the reality, Rahul, is a little bigger. Whether it is Dainik Bhaskar, whether it is Newsclick, Newscred, Wire, Quint, why have all these companies been raided? These companies have not been raided because nobody follows the law of the land, and only a few in this country do. These companies are being raided because some tough questions are being posed by them to the Modi government, and the Modi government is not comfortable with those questions. I want to make a larger point, and I think the larger point to be made here is that this government gets upset with criticism. They have a thin skin. They do not like people who don't comply with them, to the extent that Smriti Irani one day intimidates a journalist, and within hours he loses his job. If this is not intimidation that's happening in broad daylight, मैं तुम्हारे मालिक को फोन करूंगी, मैं तुम्हारे मालिक को फोन करूंगी, what else is? And which is why the larger point that is being made here is what Jack Dorsey says and what the government then did. If Jack Dorsey had said this, and the reality on the ground was that there was farmer protest happening, everybody was showing it, the government was in constant dialogue, the government did not meet the farmers for 11 months. And they were sitting at the borders of New Delhi. And do I have to show you pictures to remind you how those borders were dug up and how barbed wires were put there? Do I have to show you pictures to remind you how over 750 farmers lost their lives? Do I have to show you pictures to remind you how old men were battered and beaten up by the BJP government?
Okay.
Do I have to show you pictures of that? No. Which is why the reality and what the government was trying to do was in sync. Sach ye hai कि किसान आंदोलन के दौरान भारतीय जनता पार्टी की मोदी सरकार ने बर्बरता की हर सीमा लांघ दी थी, और वही दिखाने का प्रयास किया जा रहा था, जिससे इनको आपत्ति थी, जिससे इनको दुख था, दर्द था.
Does this in any way, as I conclude, Amit Malviya, in your view, mar the Prime Minister's visit next week, or do you think this is just like water off a duck's back? He said what he has to, it's kind of predictable, life goes on, the Prime Minister goes out and does what he needs to in the US?
Well, clearly this is going to have no impact on the Prime Minister's visit, but clearly it is very, very obvious that Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party are leaning on foreign money and media to fight domestic battles. And the kind of political rhetoric that we've just heard from the Congress spokesperson goes on to further reinforce the idea that the farmer protest was actually instigated and had the support of big money overseas. The Pegasus controversy, on which Rahul Gandhi led the charge in the parliament and outside, was foreign sponsored and had George Soros and his ecosystem behind it. The Rafale deal that Rahul Gandhi worked against was again at the behest of powerful forces abroad. Similarly was the case with CAA protests. Now this is a very dangerous terrain for democracy, when the principal opposition party, at least
I'm out of time,
still won, even though they do not qualify for the leader of opposition position. But the fact is that this is insidious. Rahul Gandhi is dangerous. He is playing footsie with dangerous elements, people who have terror linkages, people who are hobnobbing with ISI, Jamaat, the Chinese establishment. Rahul Gandhi is playing a very, very
Okay, I'm coming to you, Supriya. I'm coming to you.
It will not end well for the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi, because India clearly has moved on and they have reposed faith in Prime Minister Modi's leadership, and Rahul Gandhi's nefarious design to undermine the will of the people will meet the fate that several opposition leaders in the past have. It might well be the final battle for Rahul Gandhi before he fades away in oblivion.
15 seconds, Supriya Shrinate, 15 seconds, I'm out of time, quickly.
Is just going on. Yeah, he can speak for 2 minutes and I get 15 seconds. That's the reality of Indian media, but I will still make it in 10 seconds.
Ma'am, you spoke. One second. Hold that thought. One second. You can't just get away by making these kind of pot shots. The fact is, both these leaders have spoken equally. For anybody who's watching, you yourself would testify to the fact that both the BJP and the Congress leaders have spoken near equally. Make your point. Don't attack me. Make your point.
Let me finish my line.
Yes, you can.
I'm not attacking you, I'm only telling you time distribution, and anybody else can go and see how with rapt attention and absolute love you were listening to him and you kept interjecting me. But if this man believes that there was foreign money involved which fueled the farm protest, did the Prime Minister of this country do an anti-national activity by withdrawing the farm law? Why did he withdraw the farm law? अगर गलत लोगों का पैसा लगा था तो नरेंद्र मोदी ने farm law को withdraw क्यों किया? ये जवाब दे सकते हैं यहाँ पर.
That the farmer protest had foreign interests working in the backdrop and Rahul Gandhi was one of the beneficiaries. He went abroad and sought foreign support. He went to the United States and had meetings with people aligned to the Jamaat and the ISI. He had clandestine meeting with the American administration, details of which have to be put out in public domain. Is Dorsey Park the larger kid gang of the Congress party which is being funded abroad? That is the big question that we need to ask.
Okay. That's the reality of Indian media. Go ahead, enjoy yourself, because this is an entertainment.
The reality is that if you scream and you make no sense, nobody's going to listen to you.
The Prime Minister of India, did he do an anti-national activity?
Okay, I'm out of...
Don't scream.
Okay.